In further developments, short-term insurance has again come under the spotlight amid the recent heavy rains that have resulted in damage. The Western Cape has been the most affected this time around, while KwaZulu-Natal has had the most frequent incidents of this nature in recent years. Santam has now reported that over 160 claims have been received so far in the Western Cape following this week's inclement weather. Head of non-motor claims at Santam, Roland Ramalingam, speaks to us now. Thank you so much for your time, Roland. To what extent does the insurance sector ready itself really for such events, of course, to accommodate an influx of claims from both businesses as well as homeowners?
Hi, good evening to you and your viewers. Yeah, I think it's something one doesn't necessarily plan for, but I mean, we do have processes in place to anticipate higher volumes than usual. We have a bunch of suppliers to assist us just to manage the high volumes during this time as well.
What do we mean by higher volumes, given that 160 or over in the past 24 hours of the inclement weather we've seen in the Western Cape? Would that be seen as a little bit excessive or a bit of a spark, or in a spike, rather a spike with regards to the inclement weather patterns and the claims that you would get seasonally?
Yeah, look, I mean, during this time, we normally plan for higher sort of volumes, especially with, storms throughout the country. So this is in line with the current planning process. But I think the Western Cape came a bit too soon. And as a result of same, we will obviously invoke our CAT plans to ensure that, or catastrophe plans to ensure that we can handle the volumes and deliver superior service to our clients as well.
There's also much to be said about how these claims are handled, given that it is at a point and pace of immediacy. Talk us through the process, because most businesses and homeowners would want to get back to normalcy as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is to inform your broker, or alternatively register your claim directly with the insurer. I think that's the first starting point. The process then is very simple thereafter. As insurers, we appoint assessors to go out there and assess as quick as possible. And thereafter, it's the process of repair, where we then instruct our contractors to do the necessary repairs. So that's effectively how the insurance process or the claim will be handled going forward.
Talk to us then, Roland, about the cost implications without going into much detail about the exact incidents, but history and recent history has taught us with the events in KwaZulu-Natal that these events could be quite devastating and dent the coffers of insurers.
Yeah, like you said, without going into the detail of the financials, I mean, these are unplanned for, and certainly, has an impact in terms of the cost that then mounts up in terms of repairs. With catastrophes, it's sort of concentrated in one specific area. So effectively, the entire supply chains gets disrupted, and prices do increase at times. So we will obviously do the best we can to make sure we minimize the cost in terms of what needs to be done, and not obviously spend more than we need to spend in terms of pricing. But at the end of the day, making sure that the client is well taken care of, and put into the same position he or she was before the incident happened.
Having said that, let's also discuss the frequency of this inclement weather related to the change in the traditional system of the insurance industry, in that the landscape itself is changing not only on the side of how insurance companies prepare, but every other South African, given the weather patterns.
Yeah, I think, there's no doubt, climate change has a major impact in terms of what we've seen. And as such, we've seen this happen throughout the entire country in the various provinces. So as insurers, we gear ourselves to do the best we can to make sure that first and foremost, our clients are well taken care of. And then, just making sure that we can address the claims as quick as possible. In terms of frequency, we constantly monitor the areas in terms of where we suddenly get these huge amounts of claims or volumes of claims relating to weather. And as insurers, I guess, one will definitely do the necessary thereafter to ensure that the book or the insurance industry is still sustainable, either by endorsing certain policies or, increasing excesses or sometimes just changing some of the policy conditions.
Thank you for your input. Head of non-motor claims at Santam, Roland Ramlingam, speaking to us about how the sector as a whole deals with the inclement weather patterns as we've seen the devastation down in the Western Cape this time around.